Got it. Right. We are live on YouTube. So yeah, everyone, please open up your cameras. Dul, very good to see you here. Karthik, first time on the podcast. Welcome. Just a second. Yeah, muted. Yeah, all good. Indranatha, over to you.
Yeah. Karthik is not able to hear. Karthik, have you joined
Karthik,
with the audio? Can you check if you have joined with your audio?
Karthik, if needed, you can leave and rejoin again if there's an issue. Not going to be a problem.
Yeah. So what we'll do, we'll start off and see Karthik will probably join and Supam will also join midway. So yeah, thanks all for joining. I mean, the qualifying rounds are now over. And so we completed qualifying without losing a single match. And of course, there is a larger streak going on. So today's session will look back at the whole qualifying round, what's happened in between, and what are we expecting later this year, and also maybe touch upon a few things about tomorrow's draw. So I think, just to start with, I don't know who will remember the situation the team was in when the qualification started. After 17 games, it's probably a completely different unit. But if somebody, probably is with a longish memory or wants to talk about it, or to start that from the beginning of Shupri, I'll go with you. Where we were in the beginning, and if you also, highlights on probably I'll say the first 5 games, and then we'll take it from there. Shupri, over to you.
Yeah, thank you, Nanada. The first thing that I remember was when Argentina started the qualifiers, they were a team that was a work in progress, a basic team where Scaloni was trying to fit in few players. We remember Scaloni brought in Lucas Martinez Quarta. We thought, okay, the River Plate player who is going to Fiorentina now will be our new center back pairing with Otamendi. Also, we remember starting Lucas Ocampos in the upfront with Messi. So that match was not a very good match. We somehow scraped through a victory with a Lionel Messi penalty. From there on, I have seen Scaloni trying to experiment. The next game we went to Bolivia. We won 2-1. Great substitution by Scaloni, brought in Joaquin Correa and scored the winner. So that win actually gave the team a little bit of much more confidence. We saw the introduction of Papu Gomez, who started as a left back. Actually, now he's playing in left wing. He started as left back. There was a controversial call in the Paraguay match, and after that, we won Peru. And with these 4 games, we achieved 2 things that we did not achieve for a long time. One is winning in Bolivia, and second is winning in Lima, Peru. So when the first set of qualifiers were finished, we got 2 players. One is Nico Gonzalez, who scored in both the games versus Paraguay and also versus Peru. And we got Lucas Martinez Quarta. But since Quarta was not very convincing, and the matches got delayed due to COVID, we got enough time to bring in the players like Christian Romero, who was a Serie A Defender of the Year. Then Emilio Martinez. After a long time, fans were expecting Emilio Martinez to come in. And since then, the team has never looked back. Slowly it grew. We remember Romero and Emiliano Martinez both started in the same match versus Chile, and later on they fielded the same both of them again went to Colombia. So the initial few matches were not so convincing because we drew 3 matches. The match versus Chile, which we drew, we lost a tremendous amount of chances, and the match that versus Colombia that we drew because of our lack of intent in the second half when we were 2-0 up, and then a mistake by Otamendi. So by that time we were organizing. Argentina was organizing the team, but there were a lot of questions left to be asked about Otamendi's selection, Armani's selection as a second keeper, then how to fit in Dybala, a lot of questions were there. But once Copa America began, because I just want to highlight few stuffs about Copa America also, because it came in between this qualifier phase. Once Copa America began, we saw an improving Otamendi. Complementing with Christian Romero, and then we also saw a defined unit in the back line. We saw Montiel, we saw Molina, we saw the Tagliafico, we saw a better Acuna. So the combinations were clicking in. Then Nico Gonzalez started to start in the left wing. So after initial few matches, there were also a lot of complaints that Scaloni is not increasing the tempo. They were going to sleep after scoring somehow 1 goal. So somehow we later on the team had enough confidence. They won the Copa America, and after Copa America, we saw a different Argentina, much more fluid Argentina. The Argentina that started playing better football versus Venezuela, versus Bolivia, versus Uruguay. Much more comprehensive, fluid football, the beautiful football that Latin American teams are known to be played. After that, slowly, we remained unbeaten. We had a Brazil match that got cancelled, but Brazil could not defeat us in the return leg also. We achieved many things, like we comprehensively, I'll not say comprehensively, but we did beat Uruguay without the likes of Messi. We did win versus Chile with the absence of Messi, and also versus Colombia. Our team slowly got better, and it never felt like that we were in a tricky situation. We qualified very early. Compare it to last set of qualifiers in 2018. It was a last match, a hat trick from Messi, and everything that went down. We did not have to suffer this time. So slowly, the team became a very good unit. We remained unbeaten and remained focused. The team also got a lot of players as good backups, like Lisandro Martinez. If we don't have Otamendi,
Supriya, we'll come to that. We'll come to that. I actually wanted this segment to be almost like pre-Copa America section of the qualifier, but I think you gave a good overview. I'll come to players in probably a little later half of the session. So, Brigovan, your take on, I mean, I would not ask the same question. What I will ask is, we have seen a few players evolved and became almost part of the starting 11 compared to, I mean, they were probably nowhere before we started the qualification. So who do you think are those key players? And I'll give one example just as a hint. So Otamendi had, I mean, many of us had element of doubts. He will commit something, one mistake which will go as an error, concede penalty. Now, today's Otamendi is not that player at all. I mean, even both for his club and for Argentina. So that kind of examples, if you talk through a few players and with some examples, Brigovan, and if possible, some light. So you're almost in a very dark place.
Yeah, that's actually, I'm in a restaurant, so I just came out and I'm just standing somewhere.
Okay, go ahead. No. Yeah, give us a short summary and get back.
I think it's a very good question, and let me first start off with what I was thinking about when Supriya was talking. Mm-hmm. I think all of us here, and including you and everybody here, when Argentina started off with the qualifiers, we all knew that the coach would need to have a core team, okay, some core members. Of course, Messi was any which way a part of it, but around Messi, and there would have to be certain core members in every department, be it defense, be it wing, be it midfield, be it forwards, and then there would be players who will be like working like satellites. We always knew that, and Argentina needed that, but it was not happening. Prior to Copa and before the 2019 series, the season began, it was not happening. Players were coming and going. There was a lot of experimentation which had to be done any which way, and some of them were clicking, and then they were not clicking after some period of time. Some of them came with a lot of potential, but they were not. Like, for example, Dybala. Dybala is a classic case. We always thought that Dybala would come, and probably at some point in time we were also saying that Dybala would probably fill in the place of Di Maria or Messi at some point in time. He's the main guy, he's the star, and that has kind of phased him. So yes, there was a lot of churn which was happening, and which needed to happen also. But I think over a period of time, what we have seen, and which gives me a lot of confidence, is that in every department, we have now formed a core. And let me first start with the goalkeeping situation. I mean, when Armani was still there, something inside me was telling that we cannot do with Armani. He may be obviously better than Caballeros of the world, but if we have to win the cup and if we have to really be strong in the World Cup, Armani is not the answer. And if you remember long time back, in 2019, I used to always argue that probably we need to give chance to young goalkeepers and stuff like that. But because Armani at 35 is not the one. He might be the most experienced guy, but he's not the one. Thankfully, like a God-gifted, kind of a scene, there comes this great guy who suddenly out of a blue moon, just because he starts, functioning so well in his club, that the coach, that Scaloni, had to give him a chance. And then what a fantastic story it has turned out to be. I mean, it is for the first time, probably after Neri Pompidou and probably after Gaikochia, we have somebody on whom, you can blindly probably, kind of have that confidence that tomorrow in the World Cup, when there is a knockout match and there is a tiebreaker, this guy will pull us through. And that's Dibu Martinez. So there's the first member of my core team, Dibu Martinez. The way he has evolved, the way he's now a pillar in the entire Argentine team. And it's not only, let me tell you, it's not only about saving. Generally, we kind of, appraise a goalkeeper from the kind of saves that he does. But a lot of times we forget that a goalkeeper's also another very good job is to distribute the ball. And Martinez has a fantastic distribution capability. He has this vision. He sees well. He knows where the players are, and his ability to come out of the goal. I mean, he's a complete package. And you can only thank God that, Argentina is never known to have great goalkeepers. And suddenly out of the blue, we have now one of the world's best. So that's going to really stand us well. Next, coming into defense, I think, yes, as Indranatha rightly said, Otamendi is a case in point. So I'll come to Otamendi a little later. But I think when we were beginning the World Cup, qualifiers, we were looking at a lot of young faces because we knew that, the Argentine defense is an old year and it completely failed under Sampaoli, and we needed to do something about it. But we didn't know the names. We didn't know who's going to stand up where. We tried with Foyt, we tried with Quata, we tried with, German Pezzella, we tried with many people, but somewhere we were not getting satisfied. We were talking about a lot of names at that point in time. I don't exactly remember. But then out of the blue again came somebody called Romero. And this guy also, Christian Romero, it's all of a sudden. He was not there in the scheme of things pre-Copa. Probably a little before the Copa, he lands into the scene. He does some great matches. We all identify the kind of potential he has. And then in the Copa, he proves to be a fantastic warrior. And obviously post-Copa, when we were having matches, it's a sad thing that, he's got suspended. But had he played these two matches, probably, it would have been a great thing to see. Any which way. So Christian Romero, obviously, he becomes a core member. Otamendi's case, Otamendi is a classic case of a guy who was getting lost, had a great potential and was getting lost under Sampaoli and, probably, and at a very young age, probably had to hang up his boots. But it's a great thing that we have a great defender now. He's gutsy, his body language is so positive. He's a hot-headed guy, but he knows how to control his hot-headedness now. So he comes with a character into the field. So, fantastic, outstanding, the way Otamendi and now recently, for example, the way we have seen, Lisandro Martinez. It gives me a great joy to see such a young guy, running around, huffing around, puffing around, the right kind of tackles, the right kind of, anticipation. Fantastic guy. I don't know where we will probably place him. Probably he will be a substitute because he's more of a centre back, but I don't know. Looking at the way, Montiel or Molina, those two are a little bit of our weak links even now, because in Europe, against the European teams, speed and skill, I think Montiel and Molina is a weak link. And on the other side, obviously, the place goes to Acuna, my favorite. Tagliafico is there, but I think Acuna definitely gets the point. So anyway, defenders, we have this. And then when it comes to midfielder, we always knew that there is a Leandro Paredes, but who had seen DePaul? None of us had seen DePaul in this kind of a form. And DePaul is a classic case. Every match I see, he is just improving. He's on a completely appreciating curve. And he's just going from, today, last midfielder that I remember of some intelligence, who used to give through passes, who used to understand the Argentine way of playing was Ever Banega. And Banega, obviously, though he had glimpses of quality, he couldn't mature into the likes of a Riquelme. So actually, after Riquelme, I don't see any worthy midfielder that has come out of Argentina. Worthy of his name. Banega had it in him, but he could not flourish to that extent. I think DePaul is that kind of a guy who is going to, in the next few years, flourish into a Riquelme. His anticipation is brilliant. The way he gives those passes to Di Maria, the DePaul Di Maria, that link has become so effective. It's amazing. And not only to Di Maria, you look at the way, for example, the other day, the kind of pass that he kind of gave to Nico Gonzalez when he scored against Venezuela, when he opened the scoring against Venezuela. Or, in the yesterday's match, or the day before yesterday's match, when he gave a lovely pass into Otamendi, who had a beautiful header, but unfortunately, it went straight to the goalkeeper's hand. That would have been a sure shot goal in any game. So, DePaul has emerged as the key man. The guy is not only a fighter, great fighter, but he has that vision. If you remember, I always used to crib for somebody who is intelligent, a midfielder who is intelligent, who has that vision and who has that creativity. I mean, thankfully today, DePaul ticks all those boxes. He is another core member of the team. I'm a little worried about Lo Celso. See, Lo Celso comes across as a very creative guy. But then what happens is that, he has his off days and brilliant days. So he's mercurial. Some days he will be doing fantastic and some days, he will be, off the mark completely. So that is a little bit of a problem with Lo Celso, but I think it's okay. We'll have to give him a little bit of time. Papu Gomez. Papu Gomez is a guy, and Indranatha always used to say that, we need to give this guy a chance. The way he plays in Atlanta, fantastic. I think Papu Gomez comes across as a great utility guy. His understanding of the game, reading of the game, his dribbling skills. I mean, he's one guy other than obviously Messi and Di Maria who has fantastic dribbling skills. He can really take it on. So I think even that guy, becomes a part of the core. He may not play every day, or he may be a substitute more often than not, but he comes across with a lot of value onto the table. Then, of course, we were trying a lot in the forward, section. We were trying with obviously Nico Gonzalez. We tried with, Lucas Alario, if you may remember in the beginning. Obviously, that guy got injured and then he kind of, went out of favor. Lautaro was always the man for us. We always knew from day one that, at least after Aguero and after, Higuain, we have got one true number 9, and that's Lautaro. And Lautaro, given the credit to him, he has been able to hold on. He's a great guy. He's a poacher. He has that eye for goal, and we need him badly in the World Cup. There's no doubt about it. He is there just to score that goal. Nothing else. Don't expect anything else from him. He's going to get a pass and he's going to, score. So that's what comes to Lautaro. So he's also part of the core member. I think Acuna is definitely a part of the core. So Acuna has this brilliant, he's this diminutive fellow. You don't really take him very strongly. You think that, he's a pushover guy. But he has this fantastic tackling skills. And let me tell you, he's one of the best guys to give those lobs. And his lobs are so well placed, my God. I mean, brilliant. So Acuna becomes a core member. And of course, there's Messi, there's Di Maria. Di Maria's emergence is also something of a great, great value now. From a fragile fellow and, often a mercurial fellow who used to be on and off. Some days he was great. Some days he was completely off. Some days he was passing all around. Some days it was all wrong passes. Some days he would have to pull his leg. Today he has become a mainstay. For those 2 matches when Messi was not there in the last leg, he literally captained the team and he came out as a brilliant leader. And he scored. And he led the scores. Amazing. I mean, the way Di Maria has taken up the responsibility, he has taken up that accountability that I am also a senior member of the team. And it falls onto my shoulders also to kind of, dream that cup. I think Di Maria is fantastic. So, this is my core and this is how they have evolved over a period of time. I am very happy. Yes, I would have probably wanted a little more spice in the midfield. I would have probably wanted to see a little bit of Luca Romero, a little bit of Thiago Almada, because you never know. And let me tell you, European teams are unleashing, especially the Spanish teams, the German teams, they are unleashing 18, 19, 20-year-olds. And these guys come with a lot of raw energy, raw speed. One department where we probably be lacking. We have great skills. We have great vision, understanding of the match. We will have great possession, I'm sure, great passing, great tackling and dribbling skills. But when it comes to raw energy, raw speed, that's one area where we probably will suffer. And that is where exactly I wanted, some of these youngsters to probably, come and surprise you suddenly. And, kind of throw off the opponent. That I think is one area where we couldn't, build up much more. But any which way, whatever we have, we have. I don't think we have much more time now left. We may be doing a little more experimentation with the competitions and with the friendly matches, but I don't think, that will really kind of come to the life. So this is what we have, and I think I'm quite happy. And of course, Messi is the happiest. What else do you want?
Yeah. So I think one of the pointers about this squad is you are playing, I would say, uncertain kind of brand of football in the early stage of the qualifier. Even the qualifier that happened just before the Copa, the team was, not really convincing. I think post the final win, and Supriyo pointed that out, he's seeing a different team. And what I'm particularly happy about, and it's in a stark contrast to 2018, now we have a very united and happy squad. These players, imagine, there were rumors that Argentina is hoping that Romero's suspension will get reduced by 1 game, but that was not going to happen. He knew he's not going to play, but he still traveled just to be with the team and practice with the team. So that spirit, that the team together, happy, they party, they kind of celebrate birthday, everything, it's become a unit. And that's very crucial because these guys play across different clubs, get together, and we don't know in this Winter World Cup how kind of time they will give right before the team. So I'm really happy with the spirit of the team. I'll just come to probably Kifil for your kind of a short assessment, and then I'll come to Sid with a specific question after that. Kifil, over to you. You are muted. You're muted, man. Unmute and speak. We are not able to hear you.
Yes. Okay,
Yeah.
can you? Okay.
Yes,
can
yes,
you,
we can hear you.
Can you please ask it again? Actually.
Yeah. No, give a overall kind of, I'd say, your feel about how you've seen the team performing in the qualifier, and if you have any specific talking points that you think is crucial to look at, your feeling about of the team, how they performed.
Yeah, by performance wise, I can say that recently for all the recent matches, I used to watch the highlights again and again because I'm enjoying their game a lot. And it's not just about the game plan and all, but I like to see the matches because of not just the players but the coaching staff too. I think they have got the locker room very well within their hand. When we appointed Samboli as the coach, we had great expectation, and when we lost the World Cup, we were some of even at least some of us were thinking that he will get some more time, but we came to know that he lost the locker room. But under Scaloni, he gradually built that confidence in the team members, and he and his coaching staff, they got the locker room completely, and it's reflecting on the team itself. All the members, they are happy so much. They are enjoying each other. They are not and they're not playing for themselves, they are playing for each other, I feel. Even if in recent games, even if there is no Messi, I'm not worried at all. I can enjoy the game. I feel there are important members in the team, as important as Messi or more than important. Like I feel like personally, it's my feeling, DePaul is more important than Messi right now, because he's everywhere in the game. Everywhere we can see him. I mean, he's there in the defense, he's there in the midfield, he's there in the wing, he's there in the forward, everywhere he's there. So what I feel like I'm just in my praying, in my praise, I all think that these guys should be there fully fit, physically fit. Everything else is there now for the team. Everything else is there. Even though there are some slight weaklings, like our right back is not that strong, but it's okay. But everything else is there. They just want to be physically fit for the World Cup. No injuries, nothing should be there. Then I think we will go ahead. And I just want to show to the world that many are claiming that we can only win in Latin American games. We will not stand for European teams and all. But I don't feel so, because if we can score 3 goals against France when we were the worst, we can do much better when we are in our best state. I mean, when we are in a good state now. So I think the team has a good chemistry, and I used to watch the game again and again. The match against Venezuela, I think I have seen it more than 4 or 5 6 times. All the times I'm seeing the highlights, and I'm enjoying it every moment. The pass, the goals, the combinations. When you're talking about Dibu Martinez and all, actually uh, I stopped my video just because my face was like, it was laughing too much because of the goosebumps that I'm getting. I'm enjoying every player right now in the team. Romero, Dibu Martinez, Rodrigo De Paul. I'm seeing their highlights again and again. I think after Sabela's era, I don't think I have enjoyed this. I have enjoyed the team to this level before. So I feel a lot of positivity, and I hope nothing bad happens. Nothing like just like in 2002, we were expecting a lot because of that team, but something unexpected happened, and I don't want something to happen this time. The team has more confidence, less pressure, because we have won the Copa America. And Messi has got less pressure, I believe, because every time when he comes to a championship, everyone is like, oh, whether Messi will win this title, whether he will win something for his nation. Now that question will won't be there this time. I guess this will be his first tournament without that question, whether he will win anything for the nation, because he has already won the Copa America. So I think he'll be having less pressure compared to all the previous tournaments. So he'll be giving his best in this World Cup, I believe, because he is happy with the national team. He is happy with the coaching staff. He is happy with all his teammates, and Scaloni is taking special care not to break the locker room, not to bring some people like Icardi and all to lose the locker room and all. I think he's doing that also. So that's all what I'm to say. Thank you.
So one key point you mentioned, and I'm very happy that you mentioned, the team feels like they play for each other, not just themselves. So there's a huge feeling, and one, not just missing Messi. The team missed Scaloni for 2 games, but the whole unit. If you look at the Samuel, Ayala, they played together, and they are now. It's almost like a few senior guys guiding them, and they're mentoring them, and also with Aguero, who really wanted to play, close friend with Messi, and his presence will be very key. So, Sid, I want to you to focus on one aspect, which is people talked about our right back is probably not the greatest position, and if we have a speedy left winger, all of that, but I think one aspect which has significantly improved, I guess, we would always be worried whether we'll be able to score a goal or not. That has changed. Now we know, okay, goal will come. But that source, I think, Lautaro has been the top scorer under Scaloni, and then Messi. But we know that Messi had a tremendous game against Venezuela, but he may not be as prolific with his scoring. And especially if Lautaro gets injured, there are a lot of. I like, and I mentioned that Papu, every time he started, he scored, but he's not a striker. So the last game, I think Alvarez scoring is a very good sign. And I don't know, in the squad, there will probably be Jacqueline Correa, there will be Angel Correa. So I want you to focus on, whatever you have seen in the qualifying, our, goal scoring ability. I mean, talk about Lautaro, talk about, crucial games. You expect something nice from Di Maria. But who I'm talking about is a person who will score 7 goals in the World Cup. Okay, 7, I'm just making up a numbers, but the key goal scorer, the striker, and what options will Argentina have? I mean, we'll still have few friendlies, but whatever we have seen so far. See it, over to you.
Okay. Thinking for the answer about this question has brought so many other things into my mind. I want to speak about them, but still I will try my very best to keep it on the point and answer the question. So which is the most important thing that has been improved in this this Argentina. Now, what I'm saying is not only about the team, the people who are on the pitch, those 11, but the bigger circle around it. But I'm taking it a bit back, so I'm sorry. But and very unrelated, in 2003 World Cup of South Africa, the Cricket World Cup of South Africa, when Canada beat Bangladesh, my mom and I were casually talking. I told mom, look, this is also very important. For a student to perform, it is also quite important for them to have a good teacher. And that point has, even though it was said by me, that has always been stayed with me forever. Now, one point where Argentina has done massively was they set up their top order. First, Claudio Tapia setting himself that, look, I'm the boss and I'm going to do something radical. And he appointed an inexperienced coach of a team who were accused of being disjointed. Now, we all know that Scaloni was part of Sampoli staff, and there was a massive fallout. Now, whether Argentina couldn't afford bringing in the top coach or not, but at the end, fortunately, things worked out for us. Now, Scaloni, like these people, Scaloni, Ayala, Samuel, Amar, these people probably have much more better understanding and cohesiveness of what they want to see on the pitch, and they are just relaying those instructions to the players on the pitch, regardless who is playing or not. Now, thankfully, those players have picked up those instructions and implementing it on the field. Now, regardless, some match Joaquin Correa is there, some match Gonzalez is there, some match Messi is not there. Like Dul pointed out, regardless who plays, there is a structure and a principle what those four ex players have demanded or want, and team is trying to implement it. Now sometimes they may achieve it. Now sometimes they may not, but to the most part they have been achieving it. That is a good point. And you asked me who is going to be that X factor in our forwards. I'm going to be little pessimistic here. As much as I love Lautaro Martinez, I don't see an X factor in front of goal. Still, like, I'm not disputing the fact that Lautaro Martinez is our most important player when it comes to forwards and not. But I still don't see that X factor, because he has not been scoring every other game. Sure, he's in the team in the starting 11 consistently. He's in the goal build-ups. He's involved in the plays. But still, I see that he can do little bit better, because our goals, the way our goals are coming is distributed. Sometimes it is Joaquin Correa, sometimes, thankfully, it was Gonzalez yesterday. So it is little bit distributed. We still don't have that one player who can, look, he's like us fans can say that, he's going to be on that score sheet regardless of what. So when you ask me, like, who is going to be our top scorer in the all important World Cup, I just can't think of an answer, because that X factor is still missing. But having said that, it is also a good thing. But like I just said, the way the goals are coming have been distributed. So what does that tell us? Like, we are not just relying on one player to guide us. The goals can be coming from anywhere else. For all I know, I can yesterday Otamendi scored a brilliant header, and it was a quick reaction of Ecuadorian goalkeeper that he saved the goal from the point blank range. I think this team, where the goals will be coming in, I think it will be a collective effort of midfielders and forwards.
Okay. So I think, yeah, that's a concern which I think we all have, is we do not have, say, Claudio Canigia, or if we go back further,
Yeah.
Mario Kempes or Batistuta, that we know that there is a strike number 9 who is going to score for sure. But we hope that, between Lautaro and I mean, there's a and what I liked about Alvarez scoring is he could bring in that surprise element. Europe hasn't seen much of him yet. Okay, so if he kind of remains fit, and he will gel with, because he's very young, idolize the likes of Messi. So he could bring in that surprise element. Let's see how it goes. Moving to Orco now, another position which was a pain point, but I think we got the solution in Emi Martinez. And Argentina so far has been carrying 4 goalkeepers, but I don't think it may they still be, because I think they'll be allowed kind of more goalkeeper. But because if we consider 3 goalkeepers, and primarily I want to see that the last match you saw truly. So your thoughts on this, Orko? And because Orko, you are for the first time you are in the podcast, so why don't you start with giving a short introduction about you and talk about our goalkeeping positions. First, you have to unmute and then start. Yeah, go ahead.
Thank you, Indranath. I am here for the first time, and it's a very nice experience. By profession, I am a marine engineer, so I stay 6 months abroad in my ship, and I miss the matches, but I get all the infos and I read it so that I can catch up. And for the rest of the time when I'm in holiday, I see every football that is on offer. For
just a moment. Where were you during the Copa America? Yeah. You were in ship or you were here?
I was on board. I was on board, and I was in my watch at the engine room, and it was 55 degrees Celsius outside. I was praying on my knees near the engine that we win today. We win today. My cadet came up and said, "Sir, you don't worry. Argentina is already 1-0 up." I said, "Stop it right there. Don't jinx it. We will win it." By God's grace, I came back at 12 o'clock from my watch, and Supam told me that, "God, we have lifted it." So it was the happiest moment in my whole of shipping career life, that yes, I couldn't see him live lifting it, but yes, I rolled on with tears and I enjoyed like anything. So that on board, I did not miss it. I did not miss it really. I read it, I got the highlights, I got everything. So it's okay. It was another experience altogether. And I hope I will catch up with this World Cup. So I will extend my holidays. I'll ask my company requests so that they grant me another leave for another few more months, so that I can see the World Cup and see him lifting by God's grace. Let Messi have the World Cup first. Then we will see whatever it is. For Indranath, about the point of carrying specific goalkeepers, I don't see Franco Armani actually making it to the squad. To be very honest, Franco Armani is older, and the way you see when you see the Champions League, you see Atalanta, you see Villarreal, you see Ruili and Musso, it is really nice to see those guys so high on confidence. You see, Villarreal is doing well, so is Atalanta, and they are a very progressive team. And I would really like them to be the backup and carry just 2 keepers all along. It's not like a 2006 World Cup where some Luis Franco is coming in and considering a header from Borowski. It was horrible. Our second and third choice goalkeepers were absolutely horrible. And we all know what kind of goalkeepers we had in the middle. I have seen the 1998 World Cup. I was very young. But after that, from where I really understood that we did not have an Abundanzieri backup ever. But in this case, where Emiliano Martinez is there, the backups are really, really good. And I don't see Franco Armani making it to the World Cup squad. Personally, for me, he shouldn't, because I think we are allowed 23 members, right? So if we are having 23 members, I need to see more of the midfielders, because we need a lot of creativity there. To the specific question, to the specific point where Sid was there, we will be scoring collective goals and all. But see, the spark is still Di Maria. He has that raw skill. He has carried it on. I think Di Maria is going to be our top scorer. God's grace should be Lautaro Martinez too. But seriously, my fingers are crossed. I don't see Messi in that prolific form and scoring the highest number of goals. But yes, Messi can deliver those killer passes. So is De Paul. So is Leandro Paredes. But I think on my overview about Leandro Paredes he tends to slide between the centre backs and he passes sideways. In that place, that De Paul's work rate is so important. And mind it, we are not tested in De Paul's position with another player. Like I would have liked to see Lanzini in the last final few qualifiers, but he did not try. Emiliano Buendia is coming up. I don't think he will be carried to the World Cup. But yes, De Paul's place we have not found a real good backup. And by God's grace, if Lo Celso plays that well, we don't have to worry. So I think we will make it in Ronaldo. I think I have concluded my point, and I hope you guys enjoy. And I will carry on with the meeting. I will carry on hearing you guys. Thank you very much.
No, great to have you, Orko, and your emotional experience being in the sheep and praying for the team. That's all we do. Absolutely. And I think I would completely agree. I think both Ruli and Musso are very able, and we would love to. But I don't know, given that there is always a bit of political dynamics of carrying players who are based out of Argentina. So our money may still go, and I think one of them, which Musso might. But I want to understand your point of view. Coming to, I think what Di Maria. I want to focus on with everybody's. I'd say I would spend 90 to 100 seconds and talk about Di Maria, because we all know that he's a player who probably we do not expect him to play for 90 minutes from game 1 to game 7, assuming we go all the way. And so I think he is brilliant in the beginning when the teams are just getting up or not ready, because he's fast, his ability to score from outside the box, or his volleys and everything. Or if he comes back later in the game against a tiring defense, he's just devastating with its diagonal runs and all of that. So how do you want to see him being utilized by the coaching staff? Just Di Maria, 90 seconds to 120 seconds. Supriyo. And this is especially because we missed him in 2014 final, and we know the potential.
Look, Di Maria has two sides. One is he's very fragile. He's injury prone. Another one, he is our go-to guy to score crucial knockout goals. Be it France, be it Brazil, World Cup, Copa America, wherever. He will come in and, without any expectation, will score that one crucial goal that will bring us back in the game or make us win the game. So Di Maria, for me, should always be used as a super sub from 60 minutes onward, 65 minutes onward, to protect him, and also to use his burst of pace at this age, 34 years of age. He is obviously not a 60 minutes player that we can get much more efficiency out of. So so as a super sub, the last 30 minutes against a tiring defense, run havoc on the flank, and he is also a very creative player and score those crucial goals in the knockout phase, especially. I also forgot Switzerland. In 2014. Knockout goals, this specific knockout goals that will win those crucial matches. That's it.
Sid, your thoughts on utilizing Di Maria?
Personally, looking at his physicality and his fitness overall, from the moment he was out in 2014 World Cup till the 2016 Copa and so, where he didn't make many appearances for Argentina, but still he made it to the 2018. After that, in between 2014 to 2018 World Cup, regardless of what his issues were with the fitness, he has been fairly playing for his club consistently. Please correct me if I'm wrong. but of course not when it came to the national team. But after the 2018 World Cup, I think more or less his issues of playing consistently with good fitness are behind him. He started the game where Messi wasn't playing, that too versus Uruguay away, and he scored a brilliant goal. Uh, did Messi play versus Chile in away? I don't think so, right?
No. Messi did not play. He was
Yeah,
injured. He was recovering from
and
COVID.
yeah, and again Di Maria came and he scored a wonderful goal. I think we can there are situations where we can use him as a starting 11, but I would categorize it depending on the opposition, or more importantly than opposition, depending on the situation we are in the game. If Scaloni does decide that our frontier are going to be our Gonzalez, Martinez, and Messi, I think it would be quite good for him to bring him after 60 to 70 minutes, like Supriyo said. But frankly speaking, guys, I do see him starting in the starting 11. I certainly believe that our front three is going to be Di Maria, Lautaro, and Messi.
Yeah. No, I think one valid point said that in the recent past, his probably past is those fragile ways, but he's not getting younger, so it's
Yeah.
I think very critical to protect him. And in crucial games, if he starts and creates or scores an early goal, that gives us huge advantage. That's
Yeah.
a point. But my focus is on, we need to protect him. Mrigavan, if you are not driving and if you are able to talk, you talk on our, I think, a very valuable, precious element, Angel Di Maria. If you're driving, don't take risks. So
Yeah, I think, no, I'm not. So I'm fine. Yeah, you are right, absolutely. And as I had mentioned today also in the group, I think Di Maria is a very precious commodity. I mean, on his day, he can create wonders. I still remember the goal that he had kind of, uh, created in that France game, and only he can do all these things. In fact, after Di Maria retires from the Argentina team, we are going to miss him for a long period of time. I don't think anybody has that kind of a vision. He can score a goal from any position, any kind of angle, and his angles are very sharp. Now, true to his name,
yeah,
Now the point is that yes, we need to protect because he is fragile and he is crucial. So, so I think what you need to do is that in the group matches, in the group matches, depending on what kind of group do we get, if we kind of get a group of death, then of course it's a very different scenario. But I think somehow we are going to get a group of a moderate, thing where there will be easier matches and all. On easier matches, you should not actually play him. Very simple. There are enough, strong gunners in the team who can take care. Because unlike Messi is also equally hit by people, but Messi can somehow preserve himself. Di Maria can't. So it is very important that for the group league matches, it's very important that you protect Di Maria. Only probably against an European team, you kind of play him. You protect him for the knockout stages, and in the knockout stages, depending on how the game is progressing, you either start with him or you bring him in the second half. Now, what do I mean by depending on how the game is going? So, for example, if it's a tough team, say suppose likes of France, Spain, Netherlands, that kind of a thing, probably you need to bring Di Maria up front. In the beginning, he can create, he can unsettle the opposition by creating a goal which is unheard of or unseen of, and that would kind of give the Argentine defense a long way to protect themselves. But however, if it's a relatively, say, a easier team, like say a Mexico or a USA or an Iran or a Korea, there what we can probably do is that we can bring Di Maria in the second half, because by the first half, you can be rest assured that Argentina will score. I mean, that's one way to look at it. And you bring in Di Maria in the second half, you increase your chances of scoring more, and you seal the match. So that way, you kind of protect him also, because he's not a player who can play entire 90 minutes. he will probably be best suited for 45 minutes. Also, very importantly, what Di Maria brings to the table, even at this age, is the kind of speed that matches the European guys. Now, that's one area which is very important. So Di Maria, Alvarez obviously is very, very young. But I'm just saying that, Di Maria, even at that age, can kind of bring in that sudden burst or a sudden speed, which is very, very crucial. So that can unsettle any kind of defense. So it's very important that you, depending on how the match is progressing in the knockout stage, you bring Di Maria. And of course, if it is like this, that, for example, say suppose in the first half, it's kind of tough and Argentina has kind of, got into a bad situation where, you have conceded. You will have to bring in Di Maria immediately because he's the guy who can unsettle. So, that is one important point as far as Di Maria is concerned. Now, the question is that when Di Maria is not put into play, who's the right kind of guy to take up that role? I think what I saw of Alvarez, recently, I kind of liked him. He has that speed, he has that vision, and he has that understanding with Messi. See, not all players can adjust to Messi because he kind of gives you passes which are very difficult to understand unless you are of that caliber. I think Alvarez comes across as a good player. He understands, where Messi is going to give that pass. Of course, Lautaro is any which way there. I'm just discounting the fact that Lautaro is not going to be there. But I think Alvarez, I am going to go with Alvarez. So, so that way. What Sid is saying that Lanzini has met with some major accident. Is it? It happened just now?
Yes.
Oh my God.
Yes. Unfortunately, which is why I was pointing out my finger urgently. This tweet just came in. I am not sure if it is true or not, but it has been retweeted by a reliable Argentine journalist. West Ham playmaker Manuel Lanzini has been rushed to hospital after a major car crash. Update: firefighters raced to the scene, but Lanzini miraculously walked out unhurt. A spokesperson of West Ham confirmed that the car on A12 flipped and and he was driving. He had a chauffeur. Thankfully, he is okay, and he is even walking. So no physical hurt. Thank goodness, all is okay. Very sorry to interrupt, but this had to be told.
No, it's an important news. I think it's important. No, had Lanzini been in full form, he would have really completed our midfield like anything. That guy is also very big. I don't think he's in a position.
And he's a guy who. Yeah.
I think he was speaking something and then he got frozen.
Yeah. So I think another point I want to discuss. I think we discussed qualifier some. So the other point I want to talk about. So we have a few games left. For example, we know that the game which was not completed will happen in Euro, probably against Brazil.
It is most probably going to take place in Australia, as far as I am hearing.
Trophy match against Italy. Then there will be quite a few.
Looks like Indranath's internet is quite unstable. He will definitely rejoin us. I just wanted to update you guys. There will be a friendly between Argentina and Mexico in Los Angeles somewhere in September. Date is not yet confirmed, but Gaston Eol of TYC Sports put it out. In the meantime,
Mexico and USA, they are lined up. They have confirmed the dates, most probably be in September or somewhere. In June, we have Italy, we have Brazil in June. And most probably in October, when the UNL is over for the time being, October, we also have international dates. There, AFA is trying to arrange matches versus Portugal, Denmark, and Belgium. But these are not confirmed. They are just planning here.
Indranath, may I ask a question in the meantime?
Yes, please.
Yeah, Mrigabanda, if you remember what you said, your last point, I mean, somewhere in the last point, you said that teams like France, Belgium, and other European teams are bringing their raw power, like under 20s, early 20s. They're bringing their raw power. That point reminded me of our last game. I mean, the last game versus Ecuador. If you carefully notice what happened in the first half, Ecuador came in guns blazing, like it was total football, end-to-end stuff from the both the teams. I mean, they came in really hard, especially from that left wing, who was really troubling our right back. And Argentina soaked that pressure.
Esteban and Ibarra. Yeah.
Yeah, Argentina soaked that pressure really well. I actually commend that. I mean, it was really refreshing to see Argentina take in all that pressure, and somehow we scored a goal. But nonetheless, we conceded a penalty in the end, and we drew the match. Now that can be argued yes or no, but the fact remains is the points got shed. Now this is going to be of constant occurrence in the World Cup with these raw power under 19, under these European teams with so much youth. We are going to face that throughout the tournament. Whenever we face those teams, unless we face Mexico or some other teams which we know we can handle, uh, which is one more place where Argentina needs to improve. What are your guys' thoughts on that? If anyone wants to answer.
No, I think it's a very important point what you said. And I think that is exactly one of the weaker areas, unfortunately, which we have. But you are right. The Ecuador match kind of opened my eyes. And, it is one of the fastest of the matches that I have seen recent times in the Latin American soil. It was very fast. It was absolutely, you are right. Argentina soaked up a lot of pressure in the beginning, in the first 20-25 minutes. So it was a storm of attacks which was coming. But you must also remember that, European teams are little more skillful than probably this Ecuador team. While the Ecuador team came with a lot of firepower, they didn't have the right skills. But European teams, especially France, with Mbappe, is going to torment us. There's no doubt about it. Even England, for that matter, England is going to torment us. They have a lot of young people who can run like hell. Okay, Spain, for that matter, the entire team is, I think, less than 25. All these Finan Torres and these all these young guys. I don't remember the names right now. These are all very young guys. Now, while that will be the case, I think in the Ecuador match, we also didn't see the best of our defenders. There was no Romero. Romero is a very young, fine guy who can, catch up with most of the players. I don't know. I might not know about Mbappe, but I think Romero can catch up with most of the, European forwards. So Romero wasn't there. Lisandro Martinez was not there. He's also a very fast guy. And, so we'll have to see. We'll also, put in a lot more firepower there. But yes, if we can soak up this raw speed of the Italian, of the Europeans, then I think skill-wise and midfield-wise, we are going to trouble most of the teams in the World Cup. That I am sure. And once we get the ball up forward, I am sure that we are going to score. There's no, because now we are in fine scoring form. It is happening every match. Come what may, we are scoring. And I really, enjoy nowadays seeing the Argentina matches. Gone are those days in the 2017, 18 and all, when, it used to be a struggle to see us scoring.
Bauza, under Bauza.
They really kind of, screwed us up. From the days of, Tata Martinez, after that, Tata Martino, after that, Bauza, my God, and then Sampaoli, and then, oh my God, I mean, it was a horrid time. So, yes, I think we are in fine flow. So we will score as long as we keep the possession. It will be very interesting if Argentina gets Spain sometime, because Spain also plays a football which is more like us to a lot of extent. Keep the ball, give through passes. It will be a match of the Titans.
But far pacier, yes.
Yes, they are far pacier. So we'll have to match the pace. And I'm sure Scaloni knows all these things, and he is planning to do something probably. So we'll have to see. And let's also understand the time of the match and where the match is going to happen. Qatar during during December, it's very nice weather in Qatar. In the evening times, all the matches are going to happen. Obviously, not under the sun, but it will be in the evening times. It's very pleasant over there. So there is absolutely no problem with respect to, for example, the World Cup which happened in Brazil. those rascals deliberately gave England the home ground was in some place which was close to the equator, and they were bloody soaking at 38 degrees. The English guys, they were all becoming red, and they were not even being able to play. So any which way, those things are not going to happen any which way. So that's okay. We are going to run. I think it's okay. Let's see.
And they even had drinks breaks in
Yeah,
2014 World Cup. I guess what, in 20 seconds or some minute, like hold on for 5 minutes, drink water everyone.
Luckily, Germany in 2014, Germany was either lucky or something. Germany did not play a single match in the sun, and that actually benefited them in the long run. I was reading this somewhere that they hammered Brazil 7-1 because they were not even tired that much.
There's actually a story behind
that World Cup, that Germany versus, I think, Morocco, Algeria. That match, Germany almost lost. Algeria was playing so well in that match. And, that match turned around. And then from there on, Germany was a different team till they met Brazil. But yeah, finals, I think, come on, yeah. For most part of the 2014 final, we were a better team than Germany. Bloody, we missed so many scoring chances. Also, we should have easily been 3 goals.
And it is also perhaps the best final that I have watched since 2002.
Yeah,
the best final. Competitive, even match, competitive, back and forth, tremendous defending, attack by Germany, attacking by Argentina. Unfortunately, it lost, but I actually entered a great final. 2010 final was the worst. Spain won, but it was the worst final.
And there's actually a story behind Germany's training camp in 2014 World Cup. I don't remember what training camp they actually chose, but they actually helped build it. I'm not sure in terms of monetary or in what ways, but the German football team were actually involved in building up their training World Cup. They said, even though, and they purposefully chose a location where they knew they would have to sweat it out, so that they would get more accustomed to when the tournament actually starts. So actually, kudos to them, regardless of what happens. That thinking is I have always appreciated in the Germans. Even I mean, I hate bringing this up, but during the 2014 final, they actually had a data analyst telling them, look, it's time to bring in Mario Götze. I mean, they are using the technology to that extent to help them guide the glory. I have always said that Argentina too should try to modernize, but of course that's all in the past. More importantly, I wanted to discuss. Now I'm unable to remember it. Any questions, guys?
Yeah, I would like to ask something that. What places do you think our squad depth is actually not tested yet? The depth of the squad, like we all know, striker position. We experimented with Foria, but didn't matter. We have given Boya some minutes. Now Julian Alvarez is there. There are some places apart from that, apart from the striker. Do you think where our squad depth must be a better, or where we will like to experiment in friendlies, depth of the squad?
Not the depth of.
If we start off with, I think firstly your right back position is very, very shaky. Molina is slow. Montiel is slow, and he is purely defensive. Molina is more of a winger. He's fast, but his defensive skills are very bad. I think right wing is going to be a very, very crucial, weak link for us, and it is going to, make us suffer. I can see that. Right wing is definitely one of our weakest areas. The right wing and the right, defensive position. The right defense. That is a very, very defensive. That is a very weak link. I don't know. In the practice matches, Scaloni should try out with Lisandro Martinez in that position. That is a weak area. See, Molina should be played up front. Molina is more a winger. He runs very good. He makes good runs and he crosses too well. But he's not a defender by any stretch of imagination. And Montiel is like a 38-year-old guy. He cannot survive in European conditions or against European teams. And other than Montiel and Molina, we have Juan Foyth. Now, Foyth is an untested fellow, and half of the times he remains injured. So right defense is very, very weak for us. That's in fact the weakest area that we have. The other
right
positions
back
are
is
more or less all right. More or less.
anything more?
Sid, I have a specific question for you guys. What of the midfield? What of the midfield, and where does the creativity come from? Yes, we know we have created a lot through DePaul. We know Paredes is a little held back of a defender, but what of DePaul? What of DePaul? Where are we? Where are we in a match where DePaul is a bit injured and we have to protect him in the middle of a match? Who does we go to? Who is our box to box guy? Who does we go to?
Frankly, our only option is Giovanni Lo Celso. I mean, when we talk about attacking prowess, I just don't see any other player than Lo Celso who has that vision in terms of giving the passes through balls, or giving a huge lob to the other side of the pitch when the player is idle. But again, this coming Lo Celso, like he's not good physically. Like players can overpower him. I can see Vinicius Junior overpowering Lo Celso. I just don't see that physical strength which DePaul has in Lo Celso. I guess we have to accept the fact that God forbid something does happen to DePaul, we have no other choice in Lo Celso, or we can try one thing, which is, but that would be very unorthodox. As many people may or may not know, Leandro Paredes was actually supposed to be Riquelme's replacement. He started his career as an attacking midfielder, but as a time progressed, both in Boca and in national team, he actually came down the ladder to handle the defensive part. But so maybe Scaloni can try putting him forward, but that would again be treading the dangerous waters. So that is one position I really hope the coaching staff, and in fact the team, does think like to do, or like what to do if God forbid something goes wrong.
See, I have one option in mind, but he is a little wobbly kind of a guy. I mean, probably for one match we can do it, but he is not a long stay. I was thinking about Lucas Ocampo. See, Ocampo is a guy who has that physical stature, who has that gutsy attitude, and he has a good run. But this guy is a little wobbly. So one time he plays and another time he's not very sure. His performance fluctuates every match. So, a probable replacement of DePaul, and if in that unfortunate case he gets injured or something of that sort, can be Lucas Ocampo also.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
Probably I can see something. See, Rodrigo DePaul has a huge feature, that is his work rate and his creativity in intersection. He's a complete package midfielder, box to box or whatever you want to call him. So if he is injured, he is substituted. We have to arrange our midfield in such a way so that we retain the. So a Papu Gomez may help. I'm not sure whether it will work or not, but a combination of these three may actually help, because Gomez can actually play in the midfield. He can actually be the creator. Paredes and Guido Rodriguez are solid defensively. Paredes also is very good in link-up play. He can also provide some nice passes. So maybe that is the way forward. But we have to see. We'll see.
Okay. So if there are no questions, I will stop the live stream, and we can discuss about the World Cup draw tomorrow. Anyone, any questions, or can I go ahead and stop the stream? Okay. So guys, that's it. Please do enjoy it.
I just
Yeah. So guys, thank you very much for joining. It's what 11:30 or 12 back in India, but tomorrow we'll have to stay up longer. So thank you for joining. Now we'll discuss